Hello, YouTube. Activassel on roids here with another glorious rant. That's Activassel on roids, kryptonite for conservatives. I'm off my roids. I'm on the warpath. Here we go. I was reading my emails earlier, and I found an article from AlterNet.org, an alternate media site that tends to get a lot of traffic from libertarians and progressives alike. But this article, it was on comments made by Paul Ryan, the 2012 VP pick of Mitt Romney, back in the election and all that. But again, that's old history. But in which he states explicitly, that and you can't make this shit up either. In which he states that. Let me find the original quote here. I want to get an exact quote on this guy. I don't want to do a general quote. But this Paul Ryan strikes again. The right wing wasn't because bullshit. Platoon strikes once more on this one. In this one, he claims that the reason why Argentina is the reason why the Pope he was basically trying to lock horns with the Pope after doing a PR campaign in which he was trying to paint himself as being on the Pope's team for a while. And now Paul Ryan is sitting here and blatantly claiming that the only reason the Pope is making the arguments against unfettered capitalism and globalization that he has been making is because the Pope hasn't had to experience or hasn't had true capitalism in Argentina. Now think about that for a moment. This is Paul Ryan claiming that the Pope has because he came from Argentina, he's never had to experience true capitalism or see true capitalism in action. And he's saying this about a man, the Pope Francis. He's saying this about a man who grew up in a country, well, not necessarily grew up in it, but came up during the time when the United States, with the CIA from the Nixon administration, were providing support for the Chicago School of Economics in Latin American countries, including Argentina. Argentina was the second country they instituted a coup d'etat in which they installed a junta military dictatorship with the explicit purpose of pushing Chicago School economics out of the Milton Friedman camp. Now, Paul Ryan, he's saying that Pope Francis has no experience with true capitalism, and yet the Pope saw everything. He saw what this true capitalism meant for Argentina back in his day. He saw the death squads being funded by the Ford Company. He saw people being kidnapped, taken onto helicopters, and having their stomachs cut open and being thrown into the Pacific Ocean. I mean, wow. Just either Paul Ryan is one of those people on the right, which is extremely likely, who buys into the idea that somehow we had a monopoly on morality during the Cold War, which we didn't. Vietnam and Latin America and large swaths of the third world, including Iran, were living proof of this. Or or he's one of those people who somehow has rationalized that 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 third world dictatorships being supported by the U.S. regardless of body count were still somehow better than communism just because they were pushing their capitalism, their ideology. Yeah, leave it to Paul Ryan. Leave it to the T-Hottest to say shit like this. I mean, between the death squads, the mass kidnappings, the development of extraordinary rendition in Latin America as a testing ground for repressive policies that could be later used to push the Chicago schools' economic agenda in other parts of the world. You know, ideas that they had already field tested and developed in places like Indonesia and Guatemala, you know, with people like General Suharto. You know, it's wow. Yeah, all right, I'm done. I've made my point. Yeah, just I'm just wow. I'm just like, okay, Paul Ryan and the right wing. Historical revision at its best.